The brand new G410 CROSSOVER from PING. Let's do it, and let's do it now. I take it all back. Hi everyone, James Robinson here. If you're new to the channel and this is your very first time watching my content, first of all, welcome to the channel. It's great to see all your smiling faces once again. Although I can't see your faces, you can. Anyway, if you are new here, make sure you consider hitting that subscribe button. Put the thumbs up to this video if you do enjoy my content. And as always, I want you guys to comment below. Today, I want you to comment below, would you consider using the PING G410 CROSSOVER? Are you more of a hybrid kind of guy, or do you just love a long iron? Now let's get back to this video on the PING G410 CROSSOVER. So guys, what looks slightly different this year in the crossover range is it has had a bit of a makeover. It does look a lot sleeker, a lot slimmer, a bit like the opposite of me from last year. Now the key talking points about this year's G410 CROSSOVER, I'm going to just start calling it the CROSSOVER now, but in relation to last year's CROSSOVER, just like I said, it's a lot sleeker, it's a lot thinner, and it just looks that little bit more gameable for maybe the better player. However, it doesn't look out of place in the bag of a mid-handicap, maybe even a high handicap, who doesn't like the idea of a long iron, but hates the idea of a hybrid. I can see that suiting a lot of people. Now for me, when I first unwrapped this G410 CROSSOVER, I thought it looked beautiful. I thought it looked a little bit like the sneak peek pictures of the blueprint irons that were circulating on social media and on Golfworks this time last year. And they have kind of gone with that look. However, you put it down and it still looks a little bit big. It still looks a little bit kind of uncouth. Uncouth? However, actually, when you do put it down at the ball, it doesn't look that big. It doesn't look that uncouth. It starts to look that little bit more gameable. Oh, that was not good. So just how forgiving is the G410 CROSSOVER? I'm going to hit you a load of shots, good shots and most probably some bad shots. We're going to talk through the numbers, we're going to talk through who would game this club, who would want to game this club, and what kind of numbers you could expect to see if you put it in your bag yourself. Key talking points with this club, apart from obviously the sleeker looks, we have a much heavier weight in the tongue, so there's a 50% heavier tungsten weighting in there. I believe that's 30 gram. That's all designed for more MOI on-off centre hits, so you don't get as much face movement and you get more forgiveness. We also have what PING are calling an internal rib structure, which is designed for a more solid feel and a more solid sound. I must admit, sound is one of the things that I have been slightly worried about with this club. By the way, I'm testing this in a 20° 3 iron with the Alta CB 70 gram stiff shaft. That one sounded pretty good. And now you see, I'm not sure if I'm too happy with that shot or not, because, I mean, I'm happy with the shot, I absolutely ripped it. But it's gone 30 yards further than the other ones, which were quite poor golf swings, to be fair. But then how forgiving is it? What's really important for me when you are trying to fit hybrids, long irons, driving irons, you have to work out what gap you're going to fill in the bag. That's where the gapper clubs come in so well from TaylorMade. And speaking about the gapper clubs, I can't help but think PING maybe missed a trick here with maybe introducing a tour version or a prototype version or a player's version or a pro version, but all these cliche words which people like to go and buy, but just a smaller looking version. It still does look a little bit kind of on the big side for me if I was going to use it. But hit those comments below if you want to see me test this against the TaylorMade Gapper Low, or the mid, or even the high. Oh. I take it all back. But yeah, back to the fitted and the gapping. So for me, my driver goes between 270 and 285. Well, in realistic terms, anything between 200 and 285, depending on the day. But if my driver goes, say 275 on average, then I want the 3-wood to be around a 255 club. So this is going to be the next club in the bag, isn't it? So for me, this wants to be around a 225, 230, maybe 235 club, depending how big you want those gaps at the top end of your bag. You see, it's a funny one when you talk about identity with golf clubs. So I'm not too sure who Ping are aiming these clubs at. Are they aiming it at the kind of aspiring young amateur who just doesn't want to hit a long iron? Are they aiming it at the mid-handicapper? Mark, comment below if you want to see Mark test this club. I'm sure he'll get his hands on it at some point anyway. Or are they aiming it at the higher handicapper who just doesn't like the look of hybrids? Or could it be for everybody? I must admit, when I swing it well and when I feel like it comes off, it goes, it feels fantastic. Not too sure about the miss hits though. I had a really interesting thing last year with the crossovers, the G410 crossovers, obviously, which were a lot bigger than this. I fitted a guy who plays off 1, I think it's 1, maybe 2 now, I'm not going to mention any names, for a 4-iron in this. And 2 weeks later he came back and got the 3 and the 5 because he said it just revolutionised his game on long par 3s. And that's a really good low handicap player. So if it can do that for a low handicap player, what can it do for a mid handicap player? What can it do for a high handicap player? We also have the Hydra Pearl finish on these clubs, so if the club does get some moisture on it, if you're in some thick rough, that is designed to keep spin on the ball so you don't get that kind of knuckle ball, that flyer that you lose control of. I must admit, that's a great idea, but in fairness, I just think it looks a stunning finish. All the clubs that Ping have brought out since he introduced this finish have looked pretty good. I must say, the more time I'm spending with this club, the more time I'm starting to think, yeah, I could, you know what, I could probably give this the benefit of the doubt. It just doesn't quite feel and sound as nice as some of the other things on the market, but you know what, if that doesn't matter to you, it's doing a pretty good job. Okay, let's hit one more, then let's take a look at just how it's performed. To be honest, I think I might be pleasantly surprised. Now, interestingly enough, those last 2 swings really didn't feel that great, and we've still got some decent numbers, we've still got a fairly decent dispersion. As an overall dispersion, with how I'm swinging it today, yeah, let's take a look at the numbers. So guys, there's the dispersion I told you about. Overall, not too bad. Quite differences in height though, which is fairly worrying, but oh well, that's human testing, isn't it? Let's take a look at the numbers for the Ping G410 crossover. Straight away you can see, and you know what, I had a really good warm-up today as well, which a lot of people feel the need to comment on, saying that I'd never have a warm-up, but I do. But started slowly and then started to pick its way up, and that number 5 is just insane, isn't it? Average distance 226. Now earlier in the video I did say that I'd want something around 225, 230, maybe 235. I'm not gonna lie guys, I'm not that good to pick kind of a really specific window for that, but overall quite happy with that. Average spin rate 2.7, that is really low. Really low. I'd be happy with that with my driver, to be fair. So I would be quite worried about how that's going to land on some greens, especially in summer. I mean, it would be nice to have off the tee, wouldn't it, in summer, and just kind of really send some knuckleballs out there. But then if we have a look at the trajectory, yeah, there's been some kind of bad shots in there, but there's always going to be. On average, that's not bad. Average, what we're looking at there, 30 yards-ish, maybe just over. I don't think that's bad at all. So guys, that is the numbers for the Ping G410 crossover. I've not done very well with just calling it the crossover, have I? But anyway, what do you think? Now for me, I think it goes high enough. I think it goes far enough. And the miss hits at the beginning, I can kind of get over them. There were poor swings and it did go over 200 yards still, which, let's not forget, this is an iron. This is a 3-iron. With a normal 3-iron, they wouldn't be carrying anywhere near that, to be fair. So it is doing its job. The spin rate worries me. It's a low spin rate. I think some golf courses it would be okay. I think you'd have to go and test it on the golf course before you did take the jump and put it in your bag, unless you are a real driving iron type of person. I can imagine a lot of players maybe using this at the Open, really kind of cranking the loft down and sending them out there really, really low. Low spin, low run, everything just, yeah, low. For me, part of the concern with this club is how it feels and sounds. It just didn't really kind of sound that nice to me. When I absolutely creamed it, don't get me wrong, it sounded amazing. But on the off-center hits, which I've given you a few of today, it just didn't really do it for me. I could see it in my bag, but I don't think I'm going to. I think there are probably other things on the market which suit my game better, but you need to go and do the test for yourself. Also, hit those comments below. What do you want to see me test this up against? And also, I mentioned earlier about who this is designed for. Do you want to see Mark test this club, my mid-handicap tester? If you want to see his reviews, I'll kind of put some all over the screen now. Yeah, that is my review of the PING G410 crossover. Do I like it? Yeah, I like it a lot more than last year's G400 crossover, but I would also like to see a smaller headed, maybe Tour Pro prototype, all that kind of wording version of it. Guys, I've been James Robinson. I'm here at Huddersfield Golf Club. I really hope you've enjoyed that. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. The channel is growing pretty amazingly, and I want you guys to all be a part of it. Put the thumbs up, and I'll see you soon.